Well, I guess it's finally time. A challenge on par with Jobless. As you may be able to guess from the title, this is Miitopia, but everything that's random goes horribly wrong. And let me tell you, a lot of this game is random. Getting the start out of the way, I pick my Mii, we get a job, beat the slime, blah blah blah. That's not important. The important part is what comes next. The biggest thing about Jobless was that I could not use any skills and didn't have any other teammates to help out. However, here, teammates are quite possibly detrimental. Teammates won't be using any personality skills, or at least not beneficial ones. Yeah, I disabled all of them except for the ones that actively harm you, but you can just kind of circumvent that by choosing something like energetic. I mean, yeah, I could have made it so that charge always triggered, but that only deals like 1 damage to you and multiplies the damage that you output. So, yeah. What's more important is to think about friendship skills, like, I don't know, warning. You might be saying, Crafter, warning just makes it so that your Miis can dodge attacks. You're right, but it's also a big waste of everyone's time when it triggers and does not work, which is really just psychological damage. Okay, the real reason I made warning always trigger but also fail is because I thought a failed warning would deal extra damage to the player, but I tested it and it does not. It just makes it look like it's a bigger hit than normal. So I've spent hours just needlessly preventing any friendship levels among my party. Anyways, of course there are still downsides to having a friend that will always do the worst possible option. If they're laid back, they'll always hide behind you and steal from you, and something like stubborn will make them always refuse heals. Of course, though, only I, as the main character, will be doing any healing, since that is also up to RNG. Resurrection was already a 100% activation rate, so I was kind enough to leave that as it was. But, it doesn't have a 100% success rate. Oh, also enemies don't drop food anymore, except for rare cases where it's actually guaranteed. Now that you have an idea of how this works, let's move on. Things only really get interesting by the time I have a full party, but I was kind of messing around here in Greenhorne. Matt here is laid back, so yeah, he kind of sucks. Once we get to the mouse boss, it makes it a bit tougher since the distracted quarrel skill now has a 100% chance to trigger. If you notice that the quarrel skill that lowers your damage isn't happening, ignore it. I kind of accidentally did that, but it's fine. None of the battles that happened before I fixed that would have changed because, well, the quarrel would not have happened if I just used a different personality or fixed it by using the inn. Anyways, another part of this fight is these enemies have skills. I mean that literally because the mushrooms will now always make Miis laugh with a 100% guarantee. Also, our defense is a bit low because we can't buy armor. I'll get to that in a sec, but anyways, the mouse nearly wiped us. However, we barely won still. So yeah, back at the inn, you know what's RNG based? Whether or not your Mii wants to buy stuff. If you, simply turn that rate down to 0, well now you can't buy clothes, or weapons. There are still chests, but those are definitely limited, and if the reward limit is below your next tier of equipment, then you get gold. Useless, useless gold. Anyways, we go fight the rock boss, beat it, and woo! Levels. Miku here got jump slash, but she won't ever use it. Now, I said that I let Resurrection stay a 100% activation rate because I felt kind. Well, that was a half lie. I made plenty of things that have a 100% chance of activation no longer activate, such as the Mage's Fire. Jump Slash wasn't 100%, but either way it's 0 now. Don't worry though, useless and harmful skills will still work, like Sleep Tight and Righteous Anger. I mean, Righteous Anger isn't useless, but it sure is once you make the success rate 0. Moving on, the cave definitely involved a lot of tears, but I saved it for last so that we got higher levels first. Now let me also say that I didn't make it so tears can always cause you to miss, because, well, I did not realize that it's something that I could do. Look, there's plenty of stuff that I did not realize was scuffed when I first made this, but you know what? It's fine. We ball. This is still a challenge. It'll be fixed in the second half. We're still in this easy part of the game. Anyways, I lost the battle to get to the imp boss. Well, grinding is still possible, which, let me level with you, real quick. The reason I don't do Miitopia challenges aside from jobless, not really at least, I can just grind EXP, whereas in jobless, I could not. This is more interesting in the way that enemies will fight differently though, and it's also a fun way to spice up the game beyond just being a challenge. So yeah, after a teensy bit of said grinding, and of course raw gaming skill, I got through the cave. Now the imp boss honestly wasn't that bad, but I just barely could not beat it. So I went and grabbed some equipment from chests and the roulette wheel. I know that it seems incorrect for the roulette wheel to exist and for it to give equipment, but I swear that I don't think this one is changeable. After 2 tries, I got the imp boss down. This is surprisingly difficult, huh? Stats and hard targeting the imp will help though. Then we go and grab Lawnmower, who also cannot be disabled. I swear, I set the skills to all be a 0% activation rate, but the horse activating for the player is like hard-coded, meaning I myself can still use Lawnmower. So the king lost his face, we got wiped twice by the golem, I went to the arid frontier to grind a bit, now I actually beat the golem, and went along my merry way. Now we rinse, wash, and repeat, which is a nice way of saying, get beat up by the griffin. Due to the nature of this mod, the griffin's statuses will never fail, which makes this the first sort of tricky boss. Now the big thing here was how easily it kept killing us. The statuses were bad, but the damage was worse. So with a little bit of new clothes and careful safe spot management, I was able to scrape by against the griffin. The next boss is the imp back at the castle, which, well, it's always going to dip Mii's hearts in darkness and succeed at it. This turned into safe spot juggling because evil Miis will take away turns from other Miis, which is not something that you really want. Now you would think that this makes it easy, but that depends on the turn order and who gets eviled up, since it kinda does it twice in a given turn. It's really a battle of mental fortitude, just making sure that everyone gets their status removed, while trying to make sure to actually deal damage to the boss. This battle went on for quite some time, but we killed it, went to fight the general, and oh my gosh, we were not strong enough for this. Gotta remember, can't buy equipment or get food from enemies. I spent a good amount of time just grinding EXP, looting more chests, which I really did not want to open, but oh well. And then I beat the general. You'll notice that only Miku and I have any equipment. This is because, while Miis won't buy equipment, there's something we can unlock later to manually buy stuff. But that'll have to wait. Moving on, it's time for next door, and oh look at that, a party reset. Now I know that things will be trickier here, so for my own job, I pick something with a non-passive versatility, the Thief. More than that, if I collect some Thief equipment, it'll be useful since I have some party members with attack-based AoE. Next up is Cat for Bridget here, because I don't want to stack up on another warrior for gear, and Cat's at least have a higher speed stat than warriors, so that's something different. With another 2 warriors, our team is decently set up. I mean, I can do Booby Trap, which is as good as my versatility is going to get for a while. Not like Pilfer is going to work. But the Thief's Horse Whispering is good too. The first boss that I really fight here in Next Door is the Minotaur, which, wow, does it kinda destroy me. The best I can do against it is the Thief's Horse Whispering, which is relatively decent damage. A better strategy, though, is dying. I am not kidding. Letting 2 other party members die lets me focus on sprinkling just one of them to reduce the total damage from the AoE. Not to mention that on normal attacks, it is a 50-50 on if I get hit, letting me negate the damage and give some back with Booby Trap. Since my MP is still so low at this point, I was able to get 2 Horse Whisperings off in the battle, and I actually won. We show the genie what's what, people lose their faces, and we finally reach a truly difficult part of the game. Normal enemies. Not just any normal enemy, but scary scorpions, which usually have a 10% chance to insta-kill anyone, but now it's 100%. Luckily, with Snort, we can take them out pretty quickly, but it would definitely be a lot worse without Snort. You know what I didn't think about when I picked Thief? Moles. Yeah, moles suck, because the only way I can hit them is Snort or Horse Whispering, since they don't even trigger booby traps. The painting boss had similar issues, since if you physically tried attacking it, it distracts you and hurts you. Basically a booby trap. I wasn't able to beat it at this point, so I went elsewhere. The distraction is just way too strong of a skill. Oh, that's 4 scary scorpions. So here's the deal. I learned something new about scary scorpions, which is that they cannot insta-kill you twice in a row. Now, there are still 4 of them, so that doesn't really matter all that much. I can, however, bait out at least one of the 4 with Booby Trap, but it's still not quite enough. Instead of just grinding to the point where I could outspeed or one-shot them, I gave the Booby Trap thing a few attempts, until I could use Horse Whispering to get rid of them all. If I could truly disable Horse Whispering, then this would have required the grinding. But don't blame the player, blame the game. Going inside the pyramid, the enemies aren't too bad. You know what sucks though? The fact that there's another painting boss in here. I am sort of at Lawnmower's mercy, as without excessive grinding, I can't do much damage by myself. And I bleed sprinkles quite quickly. Something that is kind of an upside is that my MP is still so low that Horse Whispering is cheap, and Booby Trap also uses so little MP that is not much of a worry here. My teammates can't do anything though, since they only have normal melee attacks. No skills. I actually let chefs keep Spicy Dish, since it can cause quarrels super easily, which would have been nice to have right about now. Or maybe just an attack skill. Oh well. Anyways, my solution was to grind back at the cave in Greenhorne, and get some roulette and chest equipment along the way. I don't know if this is actually a great place to get EXP, but I think so. It seems good, but there's not exactly a ton of Miitopia grinding guides for locations that are outside of the post-game. After all of my grinding, I finally got something to deal with the paintings, being Whirlwind Blades. It is not much, but it'll at least do the trick. Also, I have a fair few amount of sprinkles now from all this grinding, meaning this is doable. I also decided to try a bit of safe spot management with the other party members. They can't hurt the painting, but they can at least deal with the minions and take damage for me. And take hits they did, letting me not have to rely on Booby Trap and instead focus on dealing damage with Whirlwind Blades. The horse was honestly my primary damage dealer, because Whirlwind Blades sucks. Although, despite its low damage, it did help me close out the fight. Now, the painting inside the pyramid. Yeah, I did the exact same thing. The sword and shield were no big deal, they just did a lot of damage, is all. Booby Trap helps to negate the team-up attack, and I just have to focus on the shield, since its defend ability will always activate anyways. After that, I realized that I kinda forgot about the snake boss, so I went back and did that. Then, it's time for my old enemy, the Pharaoh. Now, there isn't anything really different from normal here. The Pharaoh skill is already at 100% activation by default. It's just kind of rough anyways. We are under-geared. After quite a bit of wasting time, we finally get the last hit, and he is dead. We get our party reset and everything again, and oh boy, that was quite a bit. I usually don't do Greenhorne and Next Door in the same video, but there you go. I started this like 2 years ago, and have put off making the video since. And I need to pick it back up. I am actually still in the realm of the Fae. If you are hoping to see me beat the game like this, for whatever reason, like the video and subscribe. Maybe even hype it. That's a thing now, I think. But I hope you liked me doing another strange Miitopia mod that no one else who is sane would want to play. With all that said and done though, thanks to everybody for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!